Growing up in Texas, one of my favorite weekend dishes was biscuits and gravy. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But most biscuits and gravy are made with a sausage gravy, with pork sausage. I thought I'd experiment using chicken instead. So what I created today was a chicken gravy along with a chicken patty and my buttermilk biscuits. So 3 different parts. And we'll start off with the first part, which are my buttermilk biscuits right here. What I have in my bowl is 2 cups of flour, to which I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, and then a half a cup of shortening. Now shortening is something I've always used in my biscuits. Some people use butter now. I love using shortening still. Then I have my pastry cutter here just to break everything up. And see how that forms a nice little coarse meal? That's what you want to get to. Once you're done, you're going to pour in there 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk plus 2 tablespoons. Sorry about the 2 tablespoons, but that's just how it all worked out. With my spatula, I'm going to mix all that together so it gets just blended. And once it reaches this stage right here, see how everything is just starting to moisten together? I will take it, I'll roll this out. And it's still a little moist, you can just feel it all. And I'll take that and I'll bring it together, just really gently. I won't spend a lot of time mixing it. Now I'll flatten that out to about a 1-inch thickness, just like that. Then I have a 3-inch pastry cutter. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to dip that in flour, and I'm going to cut out my little biscuits just like that. And you should be able to cut at least 4 or 5 out of the first pass. And then you're going to reshape the dough and cut a few more out. You should end up with a total of 8 biscuits. I unfortunately only got 7 this time around, probably because I made the dough just a tad bit thicker than 1 inch. But 7 is still better than 6. Then what I'm going to do is I'll just take them and I'll put them over here on my baking sheet. And then they're going to go into a 425-degree oven for about 10 minutes. So my biscuits are good to go, even though I made 7 and not 8, so sorry about that. The next thing is actually make the chicken patties. I have 1 pound of ground chicken here, to which I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of finely chopped onions, 1 teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of freshly chopped sage, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Those are the basic ingredients. I'm going to mix all that together with my hands. Don't be shy. And I'm going to form this into 8 patties, or 7 since I didn't make 8 biscuits. Actually, I'll go ahead and make 8 patties. Dip your hands in a little bit of water and actually form a little bit better. So the next step is I'm going to heat up some oil here. I'm going to put these guys in a little flour and buttermilk and fry them up. I've got about 12 ounces of vegetable oil I've already heated up. In my 2 bowls here, I've got some all-purpose flour, to which I'm going to add a half a tablespoon of onion powder and a half a tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to mix all that together. And then what I will do is, with my little patties here, I will dip them in my buttermilk here, then I'll dip them in the flour, and then I'll actually drop them in my hot oil. So simply put that in there, get it nice and wet on all sides. Let's go ahead and use your hands again. I'm going to toss this in here. Ooh, that was attractive. Toss that in there. Get it all nice and floured on all sides. Try to keep the shape as much as you can. And just very gently ease that into your pan. Now you're going to want to do this in batches. I did like 4 at a time, and I was very careful with it so I didn't overcrowd the pan, and I was very careful actually when I flipped these over as well. After about 3 minutes, the first side I will take these and I will just transfer them over to parchment or paper towel or whatever you have so they can drain. The last part is actually to make the chicken gravy, and what I have here, this is a half version of it, but I'm going to give you the full amount. I have 1 pound of chicken that I'm going to brown. To that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of fresh sage, 3 teaspoons of fresh black pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to blend all that together for about a minute or so till it's all nice and blended. And then to that I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of butter, along with 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and blend all that together for about a minute or so, and then get all the little bits off the bottom there. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of whole milk. Now you're going to take this now and just stir this until everything thickens. It may take up to about 10 or 15 minutes for that to happen. And there we go. That's a nice thick gravy there. Now you can make this as thick as you want. You can let it go a little bit longer if you like. I kind of like about that consistency. I'm just going to transfer this over to a serving bowl. It's like this. And now I'm going to put everything together in just a few seconds for you. Now here's how you assemble everything. You take one of these beautiful little biscuits here, and you just basically just break it open. Doesn't have to be perfect. Set down one of these lovely little patties on top of there, and you get a nice big helping of this gravy on top. And that really reminds me of home. That's good stuff. This recipe is on our website at waynesweekend.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for recipes, crafts, gadgets, places to explore, and all kinds of other fun things. We'll see you next time. Come to Papa.